In this video, we're going to look at how a consumer decides to spend the income that he has to maximize his utility. So to start off with a budget constraint, we are simply going to look at a certain amount of income that this person has, let's say $40, and how he decides to spend it between pizza, which he can buy for $2 a slice, and hot dogs, which he can buy for $1 a hot dog. So to start off with, we're going to create what's called the budget constraint. So we simply graph this the same way we would graph the PPF, and we look at, given the two different goods, pizza and hot dogs, we put them on the Y and the X axes, and we figure out how many units he could buy if he buys nothing but pizza. So if he has $40 and he is only buying pizza, then the maximum amount of pizza he could buy would be 20 units. So pizza, the maximum amount he could buy would be 20 units. If he has $40 and hot dogs are $1 a piece, then he could obviously buy 40 units of hot dogs. Okay, so we graph this, and then we create what's called a budget constraint between the attainable, what he can purchase, and what he cannot purchase. So basically, if we were to go back to what we had with the production possibility frontier, we'd be able to say that anything underneath the production possibility frontier or underneath the budget constraint is an attainable allocation of goods and services. So for example, if he wanted 10 units of pizzas and 10 units of hot dogs, that would be that point right there. Okay, he could definitely purchase that point. There's a point of 10 pieces of pizza and 25 or 30 hot dogs over here. This point is a point that he would not be able to get to, okay? So this is a point that is unattainable. He doesn't have enough income because he's constrained by his budget. He can't get to this point. He could get to this point, but we understand the assumption that he's trying to maximize his utility. He has $40 to spend on the purchase of these two goods, and if he's trying to maximize his utility, he's not going to pick a point within or underneath his budget constraint, because if he were to get 10 pieces of pizza, he could increase his consumption of hot dogs to 20, and he could be at that point and be on his production possibility frontier. So he certainly wouldn't choose to be a point within the production possibility frontier. Okay, so if we were to look at what happens when there's a change in the production possibility frontier, or what happens when there's a change in the price, not the production possibility frontier, but the price. What happens when there's a change in the price of the goods or the income? So let's start off by looking at, if there's this given amount of income, let me get rid of that. If there's a given amount of income that an individual has, and then the price goes up. Let's say that the price of hot dogs goes from $1, and now the price of hot dog is $2. So basically, we're going to take this price of $1 and we're going to change that to the price of $2. Okay. Now what's going to happen is that the budget constraint is going to pivot. So he could still buy the same amount of pizzas. Nothing changed with the amount of pizzas that he could buy. But if hot dogs change, now in this example, hot dogs are equal to, let's say that hot dogs are now equal to $2 instead of $1. Now the amount of hot dogs he can buy is cut in half. Okay, so we see that there's a pivot of the budget constraint. He no longer can buy 40 units, he can only buy 20 units. So the slope of the budget constraint has changed. Pizza, it pivots around the pizza. The pizza ratio stays the same. However, the hot dog ratio pivots inward. Okay, what happens if instead of a change in the price of one of the goods, what happens if there's a change in income? Let's say in this example, instead of having his income being equal to, at first it was equal to $40, let's say that now for income 1, we'll create a new budget constraint that corresponds with income 1, and let's say that his income has dropped down to $20. If his income decreases to $20, that means that we're going to only be able to buy 10 units of pizza and 20 units of hot dogs. Okay, so if he has $20 and pizza is $2 a piece, he'll be able to buy 10 units. And if he has $20 and we're still at the original price of hot dogs of $1, then we will see that there is going to be a shift of the budget constraint. Okay, so budget constraints, anytime there's a change in income, the slope stays the exact same. So if the income gets decreased, then obviously the slope budget constraint is going to shift to the left. If income gets increased, then we are going to see that the budget constraint is going to shift over here to the right. The same holds when the price of the goods change at the same time. So if pizza became $4 and hot dogs became $2, then we would see that the slope didn't change. Because remember, the slope of this curve, if we are looking at rise over run, the slope of this curve is going to be the trade-off of the price of pizza and the price of hot dogs, right? So if we wanted to find the slope, we would look at the change in the price of pizza over the change in the price of hot dogs, okay? So this is going to be equal to the slope. So the slope is going to be relative to the relationship between the price. Here, the slope changed because the relative price, one of the relative prices changed relative to the other price.